It's Win. The skippers meeting for the race divisions is going on right now, and I think we're going to be Facebooking live Chris Bedford's weather briefing, and I urge you all to watch it. I'm going to talk about the weather a little bit here, but Chris's data is more up to date, and he's a great presenter of this and a great friend of the race and personal friend of mine, so I hope you enjoy that. Let's talk about the cruising division real quick. And as I mentioned in a post earlier, what's going on is this red line here is the rum line, which is the direct course to Mackinac Island. And the wind is coming basically from that direction right now, right? So if I was in a sailboat or anything and I wanted to get to Mackinac Island in the straight line course as fast as I could, I'd be pointing right up this red line. What happens, though, is that sailboats can't sail directly into the wind. And what we do instead is we sort of zigzag across the wind, changing the side of the boat that the wind is coming over. So if we're a boat going this way, like a lot of boats are right now, right, the wind is coming over this side of the boat, which is the port side of the boat, and we call that port tack that we're on. And what we see in some cases is that while you have a lot of boats going out here into port tack, maybe because they think there's more wind out this way. We'll talk more about that in a second. We also see some boats saying, look, I'm going to go out on starboard tack, which is, you see the boats going this direction, right? So the wind is coming over the starboard side of the boat. So most of the fleet, though, I would say is on port tack, headed more towards the middle of the lake. And the wind is going to change a lot during this race. I mentioned that in a couple of posts, but let me just show you a little bit about real high level some of the things that are going on with the weather forecast here. So pop over. This is from Chris's morning briefing. This is the wind valid at 1 o'clock today, so a couple of hours ago. And it's not bad. The wind right now at the crib, I think, is 12 knots out of 10 degrees, so maybe a little farther right than what we see right here, but not bad. And as the day wears on, what's happening is we've got a high pressure system right here, this big letter H, and you'll remember from, so if you take any kind of meteorology course, wind flows in a clockwise direction around a high pressure system. So the winds are out of the north on this side of the high pressure system, right? So I'll draw my little circle for you guys here, right? So sort of the winds are coming this way right now down the lake. Now, as you approach the center of a high pressure system, or as it approaches you, and this one's going to move this way, winds get lightest at the center of a high pressure system, and then the winds will build again behind a high pressure system from the south and southwest, depending on where you are, right? They sort of follow these little isobars more or less. There's a little bit more to it than that, but that's kind of what they do. So if we go back here to this, right, we're going to see the high pressure system, the center of the high pressure system approaches, we're going to start to see the gradient break down here. The gradient is the wind that's caused by the high pressure system, right? We call that the gradient wind. And these purple, you can see the wind field getting a little more confused, especially near the shore, right, in the next couple of hours here. And you're going to see that there's more pressure, more wind here offshore, which might be what those guys in port tack are going after, right? So 1 a.m., this tomorrow morning, Saturday morning, here comes the high pressure system. Again, we got sort of more pressure out here in the lake, and we've now got a westerly wind, so we're not beating into the wind anymore. Now we're trying to kind of point our way straight up towards Mackinac Island, right, going this way. We'll talk more about the landmarks, but we got to clear a couple of points of land when we get a little farther north. High pressure by 7 a.m. in the morning on Saturday is continuing to pass. And you can see now that we're starting to hit more of those westerly winds that I was talking about earlier, kind of on the backside of the high. And then by 1 p.m. on Saturday, right now we're in the racing division start. Here is the actual center of the high pressure system. It's kind of linked up with the lake breeze. And here's that return flow from the southwest that I was talking about, really starting to build nicely up here. So if you're in the cruising division and you're made it this far north, let's say, you could be in some pretty nice kind of 14, 15 knot winds there. Now, what happens rather quickly, though, is there's a cold front approaching from the north, and I'm going to stop after this cold front, and we're going to pick this back up maybe later tonight or tomorrow. Winds behind the cold front, here's our high pressure system again, right? Another one behind the cold front. Again, it's flowing, right? The wind's coming this way, clockwise around the high pressure system, so we're going to have north winds coming from behind here, right? So you need to plan for that because you're going to be beating again. And what you'll see on this picture right here, you got to sort of pick it out. There's a wind shift from those southerly, southwesterly winds right there. That's the cold front. There's the northerly winds. Here's the southerly winds behind it. Here comes the cold air advancing down in that other high pressure system with a front in between the two. And what that's going to mean is a very, very abrupt shift from, here's your front, 1 a.m. on Sunday morning, abrupt shift from southwest winds to north winds, up to 25 knots, really. It gets pretty breezy, actually, behind this front. And also, it's not represented a lot inside of this particular presentation. We're going to have probably a set of thunderstorms, so doesn't look like particularly severe thunderstorms, but some rain and thunderstorms overnight Saturday into Sunday morning along with that front or just in front of that front. So we'll be watching that and seeing how the cruising division hooks into these, southwesterly winds, how far north they get before they're back to beating like they are right now. I just want to show one more thing real fast. This is sort of Chris is able to do like an optimum route, put the weather forecast models in and against different boats and show the different routes that different speeds of boats may take. So we're going to be watching what boats do on the tracker against this kind of optimal route plan. Again, we have people out on Port Tack going more this way already right now, so it will be interesting to see whether they do this mid-lake approach that kind of Chris is recommending here, or the expedition models are recommending. So that's enough for now. Hopefully I've explained beating to you. Hopefully I've explained tacking and a little bit of the weather through about Sunday night ish for the cruising fleet and the start of the racing fleet. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out on Facebook, and I will talk to everyone later. Thanks, bye.